hanging above his head right here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't think I'd see my first tiger shark like this. Please just kept going, didn't even turn around.
My sister-in-law, she's a marine biologist, and she specializes in sharks. I think you and her are the only person that I see so excited.
They're awesome. They all have like an interesting personality.
Yeah. She tells me. She does research in Bahamas.
Does she go to Tiger Beach?
I don't know, but there's this center. If you like diving and also sharks. And they have like this center for shark research. And they nurse them there. Like they have like babies and they check them. Sometimes they take like volunteers and you can go there and spend a week. You can just like below a fast boat.
Same thing for.
Oh yeah, the shuttles.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be specific name or.
I couldn't do it.
That's exactly.
They do a lot of videos.
Exactly written correctly. We did do this.
There's so much stuff I want to do, just don't have the time to do it. Like I've been wanting to go to the Bahamas since I got free diving certified here. I've been wanting to go to the Panhandle because apparently you can. There's like sheets of land that you can just kill fish after fish after fish. No, sharks you don't kill. The lionfish.
Yeah.
They said that
I've been wanting to go to Cuba because
Like
it's a stupid and
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure nobody's been diving there. It was gorgeous.
that might be a problem.
One of the first ones that come
You
out.
know, I'm saying, I want to go to that much in that.
Yeah, maybe. I know that the places that were like personal, like Fidel's backyard, those places are really good. Yeah. But the other places are, not.
There's a lot
No,
of things.
you gotta do it.
Especially you
It's called the shark lab.
No, let's do it. You can do it. It's just price and.
I understand now.
I love long girls.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
Still thinking about it.
If I don't do it,
Hey, Jonathan, can you take a look and see if you can figure out the projector? Why it's not working?
Enough power.
Are we missing some people still?
Yeah.
Did everyone sign into Blue Sky spot?
Yes.
Wait, you didn't sign me in this time?
I thought it was a service.
Who's missing?
Maybe they're at six.
Dominican guy. Mario. That's
Oh.
Dominican guy. He's living in a basement.
Yeah, Mario said he's not gonna be.
Oh, yeah, Mario told me he wouldn't be here this week.
The one thing.
Okay, good enough, Mario. Okay, happy Thursday, everyone.
Happy Thursday.
So, today,
Your battery's low.
yeah, I know, it's plugged in though. Would anyone like to take a guess as to what we're talking about today?
MySQL. Node and SQL.
Node and SQL. Perfect answer. Yay. Mapping. Yes, today we're going to be talking about Node and SQL. In our last class, we talked about SQL, how to write SQL, how to make it make tables, how to make it do stuff. And in this class, we're going to be talking about how to connect it to our Node application. So I'm just going to go ahead to show you guys. I'm going to create a new directory. We'll call it SQL test. Okay, make directory, SQL test, CD, SQL test. Okay, now I'm just going to npm install MySQL.
Oh, a sequel.
What?
Just the name of today's
Oh yeah,
lesson.
the title is so
Like-
Yeah, like every joke they make, it's.
Unfortunately, they still can't get instructions.
Yeah, but they make good lame jokes at least. So, you know. Okay, so it's going to install this. I might not be online yet, so that's probably why it's not working. But we just have a package for MySQL, which lets us use MySQL with Node. I don't know why it's still talking. Yeah, but it's also plugged in, so it shouldn't be complaining. Maybe it's just not. I don't know.
Is it charging on the
I
bottom
think it's charging because I see a
bottom right?
button down
Like the icon just says charging
Let's see.
on the bottom right.
Yeah. I'm gonna look.
Yeah, cool.
It is charging. Yeah, I think it's just like slow, you know. Okay, so I got to log in as guest. No, I wouldn't do that. Okay, now I'm gonna quit out of this and just do it again. Okay, now it's working. Hooray. So it's saying it installed some stuff. Okay, so it just didn't have a package.json to put it in. That's okay. So let's go ahead and let's open up a new file in Sublime Text. Or as a matter of fact, even better, I'll just open up their sample code and show it to you guys. Where is it? Okay, So here's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be connecting, welcome, Mike. We're going to be connecting our Node applications to our SQL database. So in order to do this, we do a few things. Let me bump up this text size a little bit. Just being slow. There we go. Okay, so first we're going to require our MySQL package that we installed. Right? Everyone with me so far? Then we're going to make a new variable called connection. This is a method of the MySQL package we just brought in and saved with our variable MySQL. So we're going to call the create connection method. This takes as a parameter one object. The object has several properties. One is the host name, one is the port, one is the user, one is the password, and one is the database name. All of this information should look familiar to you guys. Why?
Does this job
Same thing as the.
Right, it's the same thing you did on Tuesday with Workbench when you connected your MySQL Workbench. For those of you who did use MySQL Workbench, you connected it to your database and you used these same 5 pieces of information: the database name, the host name, the port, the user, and the password. So now you're going to be doing the same thing, but only with Node.js.
No, do we do it with
NPM?
Map is already.
Oh, with MAMP, okay, I'm gonna get to that. So with MAMP, it's already comes connected. So your, as you were saying, your admin already is connected. You still need to connect your application though. It's gonna be basically this, but you can see this by going to your MAMP settings. If you open up MAMP, the actual application MAMP, and then go to preferences, you should see there's a MySQL preferences. MySQL active version should give you maybe just go to or together. It didn't sort. If you go to
Oh, what if she sets the MySQL? What if she chooses to set one of the MySQL ports to the 336 services?
yeah, well, you should probably do that anyway. But I think the default, okay, I'm just going to look this up for you guys. Sometimes the best way to do it is to look it up. For those of you who have the Workbench installed, you guys know where to get this information, right? It's in your connection manager in Workbench where you set it up before, so you guys can start looking for that. I'm just going to Google for the MAMP default SQL connection. Okay. So for those of you, it's going to be username is root, password is root. The port name is whatever it's set to in your MAMP settings. It's the default is 3306, or you could use the Mac MAMP default ports, which I think is, what is it, 88 something? 8889. Okay, you're going to use password root. Those of you guys who have MySQL Workbench, you should already have this. Any questions on what we're doing here? Sorry, we covered it kind of fast here.
One question. Will the database be created from the JS file or from?
No, you create the database already. So you're going to be using the same database that we used last week, I think. Is that right, Jonathan or Dave?
It doesn't look like it.
No, that looks like a different.
Create connection to a different database called Ice Cream DB. So let's see. Let's go ahead and read the. Are there no instructions?
Unless like, you said other content.
Yeah, okay, so go ahead and create a new database for yourselves then. You guys all know how to create a new database, right? You can do it with your PHP, my admin. Yeah, you're going to call it Ice Cream DB. Then you will make a new directory called Ice Cream with Connection, or call it whatever you want to, and install that MySQL npm package and write this code and try to get it to work. Okay, you guys good with that? Do we have instructions to Slack out or no? No, I don't think we do. Yeah, Sam, did you have a question?
Yeah, so if you're using MySQL Workbench, the password is going to be nothing.
No, it's whatever it's set to, whatever you set it to. So when you set up your connection in MySQL Workbench, you typed in a password. So it's that password. You should be able to even copy and paste it out of MySQL Workbench.
No, my password's not working.
Yeah, my password's not working either.
Yeah,
It doesn't wanna work now that
you're
I
gonna
changed
do
the
this,
ports.
figure it
I don't know how to get back.
Do it, just go back to myth.
That's what I used last month's word. No, it's not.
That happens. Okay, so refresh there. Use mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wait, you have to start the servers first.
Never mind that, or like takes me to the database
And
and
then
then
that
my
button.
password goes incorrect. But it's so strange.
No idea.
No problem. Try going on page to my admin.
Oh, that looks different.
Yeah, maybe, I think they have, did you install a newer version of it? I think it's just gotta.
See, mine is-
Yeah.
Wait, what are you guys doing?
We're creating a database for ice cream DB.
Perfect.
Yeah, I haven't set it up your own method for you.
Actually, wait, here, I'm gonna slide something out to you guys that's complimentary to that.
But.
Here.
No, it's not like. It's okay, it's not as pro concept, but then it really shows me like.
Yeah, I don't know what you did last time. Yeah. There you go, sorry.
You probably have another version of this. I'm gonna use one. No. Stick a little.
What else are we supposed to create in that? Sorry.
Please send them.
We're creating the database to connect to that. What do you want to do?
It says, oh, make you smaller.
19.
It's not working.
Did all of your databases from last class stay?
Yeah.
Jonathan, where is that file? Ice cream thing?
You guys have to create the file.
No, yeah, but that located within.
Oh, populated within, oh. okay.
Yeah, send them out that last.
Got it, got it.
Just send that out.
Oh, no, there's a file that goes to that. Somewhere. Nice with connection, right?
Yeah, but you guys don't know. All you're gonna be doing is just type this on your, for this exercise, you're just gonna be getting it connected. So all you need to do for right now is install the package, the MySQL package from NPM, and then you're gonna write this code that's up on the screen to get it to connect to your database. You'll just change the password, all of the database connection information.
But these, we're supposed to write in month or in our Visual Studio?
In your Visual Studio or whatever text editor you're using.
So we.
This is not database code. This is regular JavaScript code.
Oh, we use PHP.
What? You would know.
No, this is a node
Yeah, this is
server file.
not MySQL. This is Node. We're running this the same as we've been doing all the other Node.js applications for the past 2 or 3 years. The only difference is we have a MySQL, or we have a Node application and that next to MySQL.
So what was the difference between this and PHP? Is there feature choices like that?
Well, it's basically the same. One is PHP, one is Node. They're doing the same thing. The reason I was looking at the PHP was just to get the default.
And then fill out the job
It's the same.
Yeah, so do that first, and then before you guys run it, you have to create the SQL. So,
Restarting.
Is it just
I know about that.
install, is it npm install MySQL?
yeah,
Yeah.
so create the package.json, create the server file, then write that in your server file, and don't run it because you guys need to create the SQL database with the tables, and that's after all that. So first focus on getting that.
Or go ahead and just create the database. You don't need to add any tables. But all you'd have to do is create the database and name it the same thing that you name it here. Then just try to connect to it. Okay? Everyone good with that? Sure. We're gonna run into Node. No, we're using Node to connect to my database. This is all Node. Node.js. Same thing that we could do
I
with
think I
the.
can create a database that lets me. No, I'm kind of like MySQL. Everything's been added, and I don't want to go forward. No, but I'm open, but nothing actually saves response files, which means that anything I can say will be saved. So there's no point of keeping it.
Oh, yeah, I'm changing mine to something different. No, it's direct ID, right? There's no dot.
Well, I can do this.
You asked me this one. Connection is not right.
Slowest start on that one.
Yeah.
The same information is on the screen that applies for math, right? Okay.
Usually password is also.
Oh, well, I don't know for sure, I was, whatever, for clicking down while we're going.
I don't know, so now we can do it, take. Minus the port. This one.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
It seems like Chromium is slowing down. It's also every update makes it slower.
Go to SQL and create this database. So MySQL Workbench. No. You're only gonna do You're only gonna use this. Yeah, just create data. No. Just that one. In MySQL, no, that's later.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, we just want to create the database so that your node server can connect it. Okay, if it doesn't exist, you can't connect it.
So I make two lines.
MySQL Workbench.
Just create one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just press copy.
Thanks.
And then
Run it with the products. Perfect. So now you should be able to run them with Node.
Okay.
Here's the next.
Oh.
You see the answer there? You put Node space for the Node file.
I'm not. And this whole thing.
Oh, yes. This topic.
How much
So
RAM?
you do Node space ice cream DB connection.
Oh, this one.
Yep.
Okay.
You have to see the.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's not the code.
Yeah, just sit that.
Is it the same password?
Yeah.
Yeah, other
But I feel like nothing from last month's statement has
Probably,
been-
Or your password, I don't,
What's the thing I can't connect is like, loading my actually. Right now, it's all the time, but it, okay, this is. But none of the actual databases I created.
Right, because you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, right now I had a stock that.
Did you get a temporary?
Last class, and when I tested the connection, I and this is actually, this didn't show up last time. What happened is that all of the tabs from last time showed up, but then none of the databases.
Yeah, put in your password if you have it.
There we go. You're good? You got the
That's why I looked up the MAMP default passwords.
Why? Because that means you have 23.
It's root. Yeah. Username root, password root.
That are enclosed.
Is that too,
I mean,
just that being sent to my.
you get 23 this side.
That's very nice.
I got some.
Yeah.
Last class.
Okay, cool. What is it? Permission denied.
Bye.
Wrong username or wrong password.
Nothing from the last class is there?
Yeah, what did you set it down?
The tabs are all open, but the actual database themselves.
However, we're doing connection. Look like it's in last next step.
Yeah, the tabs are just wrong. I just don't understand. The best way I entered last class. Didn't work out. So that's what it is. Setting the password takes a while.
Yeah, you have to put out if your other.
So I just started to say.
Yeah, you quit SQL.
Did you create the database in oh, you did create it. Okay. So ice cream. No, it's right there. Ice cream DB. Okay, go back to your notes.
So, what did you do this?
Sorry, 2 weeks ago. How do I use that? Or right before you do.
You haven't run. You have to run it through the console.
Pushing for the password to be limited.
So.
I stopped the service.
That's okay.
Oh, okay, so are you, do a LS, go back and.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can have scope. And then you get into those sports.
No, because we're not getting this, so we should ignore this. If we're not getting this, something up here is gonna happen. Did you install SQL?
Oh, scope, SQL. And then.
Did you install, and do, we can install MySQL?
So it's still unplugging. I mean, I don't have,
Yeah.
I don't know what my.
Install PHP.
It sucks. Still no, none of the work stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay, no. We didn't,
Other people were having that same problem.
It's just.
you used to do pseudo, right?
Yeah.
I did NPM. Stuff.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, in Slack, you specifically said workbench. No. you said
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
It didn't create it.
The JSON. It was workbench
TLS.
and MySQL.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't have a node module folder.
What's this though?
No, that's fine. So go back to your camera and let's try running that.
And I already had workbench.
So
because
npm
that's-
install.
To go here,
Right.
and what next step? So I can npm, so anything for everyone?
Because I just want to never run into
It's free database.
Oh, yeah, you can install it to.
Oh, I mean,
npm, right?
Right, I created the database, I didn't insert this. How do
I see.
Oh, I don't know if we're supposed to, it's not gonna even do that yet. That's part of the next exercise.
This is create XML database.
That should be.
No.
Yeah, it's probably the next exercise. This is to add the data to.
Next is.
Oh, well, I mean. might as well.
Yeah, you can, okay, so it's not yet. Yeah, you said the code, but it doesn't.
Okay, now try, go up a little bit. One more time.
There it is.
So, okay, so we're trying installing a mobile activity, we can install. You get a folder.
Yes,
So,
That's why I got an email now. Screen. Database, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's a help.
Yeah, it's like.
There it is. Okay, now we're ready.
What happens is that you have two files
Oh,
that
you know
start.
that, yeah.
So the console, the terminal doesn't know which file you want to select.
Oh, okay.
They just start the same.
Also not log,
And then,
at the very
hit
top.
that.
Let's try it. It's
So
like,
what about you doing?
make sure it's
No,
not.
Now you
Here?
Yeah.
I think first, what
Did you get that?
Oh, that is just to run this file.
Oh, yeah.
What is the command for running a node program?
Yeah.
So you're running your program with node.
Okay.
Yeah.
Running the update this one,
No, that's fine.
No, that's fine.
That's fine, right? That's it? Okay.
Okay.
Do you know why her file would be running? No, that's not secret. We don't want to say that. So we have unified. The very first thing we call
No.
the very first thing, however, when she runs the file,
NPM
does
does
well,
well.
that's really nothing happens.
Yeah.
And she's in the same folder, and the file's right there.
I don't know that.
No, before that, we do those.
No.
Do that. No, I swear.
Running, right? Okay, what's it like? NPM.
Yeah. Because obviously, not the only template.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're not in the right folder.
Yeah, maybe just go over for it.
You have, this is all your you're running your inside of desktop ice cream.
They open the file, go there,
Okay, so you
This
just.
one, I see. Can I get rid of this?
Where is ice, okay. That's what we.
Oh, there.
very, very.
Yeah,
Don't
go-
keep the-
Go back into MySQL. Now, let's go.
That you use to connect to your database.
There we go.
Thank you, dear.
No problem.
I always keep it interesting, don't I?
Yeah.
When I run the npm install MySQL, this format and this can be also there, right?
That's good.
No, once the install is fine, it's wait until here and it comes.
No.
Yeah. The one rate, I don't know.
You charter from.
Well, as you were saying, I was saying earlier.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
On this app, and he installed
Directory. I didn't love that package.
I need to screen that. Wait, what? Oh, I understand. Oh,
Statistics, but it has accent.
There you go.
I guess it's looking for a package, Jason, what we created.
How come you?
Because you didn't create it, yes, you didn't. So try running the file.
I know, because like,
Oh, so these you create the file, you're like, yeah, okay, so try running it,
No ice cream.
Go into this.
shit.
No, he
Oh, you have all that.
didn't have a ice cream delivery for that.
Did you create that?
Yeah, this one?
It's bad.
No, he just.
That's
Did you create the
Yeah.
database? Yeah, okay, you created, well, why do you have that? Take this off? No, take the whole function off. Yeah, you don't need that.
Quantity.
I'm gonna be at the edge of
Why is it spelling error?
No, it should.
No, it looks so long, it's like that, it walks metro
Oh, because you're running out.
Quantity spelled right?
Or what do you have done? Oh, it might be that. If you have that.
Oh, wait, can someone bring that?
Connection done.
Are you drinking anything cold?
I can run my password.
What?
Did that work?
Change my password.
Did that work for you? Yeah, okay, I guess it's, I think, cool.
Now, the thing is, the password.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, good. I got it.
Oh.
It's saying that there's an error with quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you're forgetting, so it's just.
How do you separate trends?
Hey,
How long is that?
you're at the gym, you okay, man?
Right, but they can't.
You gonna run it?
So I got. So
Uninstall
well, it does.
Do it again.
But now.
Yeah, it's
That's pretty
Be able to find that.
You guys have it. It's not preferences. You have.
Exactly.
I don't think we're gonna be using that actually at all. So I wouldn't ignore it, as long as your node works, you're good.
Yeah, I got.
Run it again.
You start a service, like show me.
Whoa, run it again. You're not making. Is connection spelled the same way? Yeah, it should stay, let me double check, because I don't really see it staying.
Let me see.
Over time. Oh, no. No, I guess.
Not that I have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you're saying. Yeah, so you're
It
good.
depends, you need to do it globally or you have to do it for each file at your JSON. And then
So either way.
Say.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because I really want to. I want to see what's the most.
What happened?
Is that good?
How does it get?
Yeah.
This one?
I want
This word is confused. I want.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, only MySQL,
It's not going to this.
is it?
Yeah, so that.
And then other things.
Let's try.
Yes, the connection is not defined, like.
Okay. So run that.
How do I save this?
What happens when it is expired? Passwords used. Or that's a week.
So after that, is it what can you
Do TIR. You have to go
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Todos no.
Okay, so now you're going to see. Okay, here's.
Oh,
what your next activity?
Yeah, just wherever you have. I need to change my size for the yeah, really.
All on the same line?
Okay, so instead of you remember what data bases you can do No, you shouldn't need, use.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Okay, we are way behind. Who is not complete? Pedro and Fabian. You two, right? Gretel, you're kidding, right? You're Really, you're not done. Okay, so the three of you are not done. Okay, we're going to take 10 more minutes. Can you work with Pedro, see if you can get him worked out?
We're
I'll work with
actually-
Fabian. Okay, I'll take a look at Okay, so
You have an issue.
Oh, actually, maybe you could.
Did you change conflict? Yeah. He's having the same exact difference.
I'm sure that it did.
You were good.
No? Because, I mean, I was trying to.
You get it, right?
Yes, It's much less.
Oh, no, it's not. I like, I'm not changing my brand. But yeah, I know. There's two options there. They showed us two different ways to go about it. Which is more the thinking about it, and another one is really I'm thinking about layering it, but I have
Hey, David, what's the default SQL?
Oh, shit, I mean, that's. Damn, I was supposed to.
Got it.
Oh, it's because I'm on D&D. Yeah, you're close.
Yeah, some
Oh, yeah, I'm on D&D. I just got on D&D. I want to be a cute.
You want this slide you?
Yeah, I took myself off D&D. And also airdrop on that to see. Oh, she loves you. Just sat on your lap. She doesn't do that
Were you able to get that?
MySQL.
Yeah. I was looking at it, it's really solid, so you can get that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can let me know that works.
Yeah, same thing.
It should work.
Worst case scenario.
Correct. Whenever this gets populated, we run the full.
Oh my gosh. It came up that you reset the margins.
That is a secret.
Okay, is everyone ready? Guys, who's not ready? Guys. Who is not ready? Everyone good? Kato, are you good now? Okay, Settle, are you good? Okay, awesome. We're gonna press on. So what are we gonna do next? Now that we connected to our database, what are we gonna do? Anyone guess? We are going to read it. Good job. Both of you guys, Melvin and Sam. Both had the right answers. We are going to read information from the database. So, how, you may ask, are we going to read information from the database? Well, it is very simple. We have our connection.connect callback function. Here, we're going to name this variable connection. We created our connection, MySQL.createConnection. We're going to give it a name. We're going to call it connection, right? We could call it anything we want to, but we're going to choose to call it connection. Then we're going to call the connect method of connection down here. Everyone with me so far? See what we're doing? So we're telling it to connect to our database connection, which we created. When it does, it's going to tell us the thread ID of the connection. We talked about threads before a little bit when I said that Node is single-threaded, whereas PHP is multi-threaded. MySQL is also multi-threaded, so it basically spins off a new process every time you open up a new database connection. You guys don't really need to know that for what you'll be doing. It's not really that important. And then we just call our function that we make down here called after connection. And then we call the query method on the connection. Can anyone guess what that does, the query method? Wait, what? It's going to ask for the data. It's going to execute a MySQL query, which could do many things. It could write to the database. It could read from the database. It could alter our database schema, and it could delete things from the database. It can basically do those four things, right, that we can do with, or pretty much anything that we can do with a MySQL query. We run the query by doing this query, and this does the exact same thing that we were doing on Tuesday, right? We ran MySQL queries on Tuesday. Everyone remember that? We created tables. We put data in the tables. We read from the tables. You guys all remember that? Okay, so we're just doing the same thing here, but we're doing it through Node. So we're just putting in the string for our MySQL query, which in JavaScript is just a string, and then we're going to print it out. So this query here is a very simple one. It's just select star from product. So that's just going to get us all the data in our products table. So this is all there is to this SQL query. Usually SQL queries are a bit longer. This is a nice short one to start out with. Then we have this guy here. Anyone would like to take a guess what this does? This function? Yeah, but it's what I was going for is it's a callback function, right? So it takes a given amount of time to execute our SQL query. It could take 1 second, it could take less, it could take more, all depending on how much data is in the database, etc. But whenever it's done, it's going to call this callback function, and then it's going to just say if there's an error, it's going to throw the error. Otherwise, it's going to console.log our result, all of the rows inside of our products table in our ice cream database.
Error does?
What throw basically throws the error. It's like console logging the error, but it throws it as an error, so it stops your application from running, and it will say, "Hey, there's an error." So when it shows up in the console, it'll show up as an error instead of just a log. But it's sure. It's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Is there a way knowing what parameters should that callback function need?
What arguments the callback function needs? It takes.
We see callback functions that have different parameters, but we don't know, at least I don't know.
Yeah, so this callback function takes 2 arguments. It takes an error and then the response. So if there's an error, it will give you the error. Then the second argument is the response, which is the response that comes back from the database. Okay? Everyone good with this? Everyone know what you're going to be doing for the next 10 minutes and 10 minutes only. We're all going to get this done in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Copy that.
Make sure we
Yeah, well, you already have this. You have to copy 5, 6 lines.
Copy or like?
Copy is type. I mean, we could Slack it out to you guys. I don't really care if you prefer to have it Slacked out. It's a little easier to learn.
Well, I think it may help you save some time, but then again, some of us may have to take it out.
Yeah, we typed it out already. Okay, Slack. Can you guys Slack it out? I'll just Slack it. I got it. Never mind. What?
We already Slacked all that out, right? The ice cream seats?
No, you Slacked out the SQL file, I think.
You Slacked out the ice cream seats?
Yeah,
Yeah, just the SQL file, not this code here. I'm going to send it to you guys now.
Don't worry, we'll finish making.
And then don't forget that you have to save your connection as a variable. That wasn't in our last thing that we did. Remember, guys? So here we didn't. Oh, yeah, we did save our connection as a variable, so we're good. My bad. Wait, took what all out? I think, yeah, I'm confused now, Jackie. So.
I mean, can you actually get back to the code that was supposed to finish?
Yeah, hold on. I'm slacking it to you guys.
Oh, you're slacking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was rejected.
Nope. I'm slacked out to you guys now. I find it's like it helps me to learn stuff to actually type it out even when I'm copying from one website to another. Sometimes I do it, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this to you guys.
You're just as bad as ours.
Spellman, what did you say? You have.
I'm just trying to stay away from you.
He's amplified.
Yeah, Melvin is like extra Melvin.
John, do we run this function?
Yeah, run it. Well, put it in your code so it matches what I showed you. Here, let me go to the other one. Sorry. Yeah, so you go to this, you make it look like this, you paste that at the bottom, then you call the function, it should work. Yes, Sam.
There's some reason they made some function for doing all that stuff?
No. No, there's not.
Just making sure. I was like, wait, why did they do it like that?
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's other. What's that? Yeah, you run the SQL code being slacked out.
Yeah, I did. It's,
They did it in the JavaScript.
No, I did it already.
yeah, I'm not happy with just this, so I thought. Yeah, probably. Yeah, everything's here.
Yeah, what is it from?
We were reading the data before we were just
I
like.
just get the revision. Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, oh, okay, I
Once we have that here, or do you want to do it?
No, I see. Pero no me quiere, ¿verdad? But they have to read the data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the connection red IDs are supposed to go up every time we connect?
Yes, I think.
Even if we're
No,
closing the connection?
no, it's however many threads are in the thread pool at the time.
Oh, okay. So it's not like the connection ID.
No, it's different from that. It's the thread manages the processes, so it's, yeah. So it's how many threads are in all that's on. That's just the way that MySQL practice works. So it just gives you that. Because think about it. Yeah. For example, later in the day, you'll manipulate that data. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, who got it to work?
What, it's supposed to respond.
Okay, a lot of people. So turn back. So, okay, who else is yeah, we'll put one person. Okay. What, you got it working with that? Okay, so Jack.
So this was
Paste. Okay, everyone done? Melvin, you done yet?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna move on. So guess what's next, everyone? Everyone. Guess what's next? Populating it. So we read data. We're doing pretty well here. Let's talk for a minute about what we've done so far. So let's actually do that. Unless you're trying to actually fix it, let's do that top down, everyone. Yeah. About what?
About that thing. I don't know what that is.
What?
That
PHP Miami?
Yeah, man.
Wham. Not wham.
Wham.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll get you started. It'll make your life easier. That's what our aim here is, to not get you guys stuck in the weeds, make your lives easier so you have what you need to go out and get jobs and not be, driving down. What's the word I'm looking for?
Homeless?
No. No, I meant not have your time wasted by not be dragged down.
So encumbered?
Encumbered, yes. You're not being encumbered. Yes. Good vocabulary. Well, I was looking for a word encumbered word. That wasn't like encumbered, it was right on the tip of my tongue, but hinder, yes, one of those. I'm glad we have one person who can walk.
Wow, one
I
person.
said Bob down.
Yeah, bog down. Bog down would work. Sounds are a little bit more literary. Okay, anyway, we digress. Little squirrel moment there. So let's talk. What did we just do here, guys? Somebody tell me in plain English. Yeah.
We connected to the server on your local machine.
Uh-huh.
And there we established a connection object, and we were able to query the server and get data back.
Okay, awesome. So we created a connection object in our JavaScript file. This holds all of the connection information we need for our SQL database. We created the connection. We told our MySQL NPM package to go ahead and talk to our MySQL database and actually create a connection there, right? So it can get the data from it. That isn't easy. Databases are meant to be secure and keep people out, which is why we run into so many problems getting connected, because they're meant to be somewhat hard to connect to. So we did that. We created the connection. Then when we create the connection, we have a function we call after we create the connection, and then we're going to execute a what? Execute a callback, and the call. Well, no, we're going to execute a query, and then once we execute the query, we have a callback function. Yeah, so we execute our SQL query. It's a very simple SQL query. It's about as simple as you can get. We're just saying we're going to select All rows from product. Star is like a wild card in many things in computers. You guys have probably seen that before, like in Git, we can use star as a wild card. So we're just saying select all rows from our table products and give us back all of the data from all of the columns. That's it. So then when that's done, we have a callback function, just like in Ajax, when our data comes back, we have a callback function. Same idea. And then it just gives us back our data. If there's an error, it throws an error. Very simple to what we've been doing with Ajax requests and other types of requests for data. Okay, everyone good with this?
Sure, if it works.
If it works. And it will work. Like I say, SQL databases are made to be secure. They're made to keep us out. They're designed to be used by trained database administrators, so you'll run into a few hiccups. And that's to be expected, and it's all sort of a part of the learning process. I mean, most times when I was working on projects like this, where I had to set up databases, had to do stuff, even when I ran into annoying problems, I always ended up learning something from it. You know what I mean? And having to take away. So that's why I don't get too frustrated if you run into these types of problems with connections, because it's really all part of the learning process, and it will be good for you. Move on. Any questions on this, guys? Yeah.
Whenever you finish doing data, whenever you have to do a connection end,
yeah, that ends the connection. Otherwise, the connection stays open. It can make your system slower. It can do a lot of things. It doesn't really matter because we're just one person coming in here and using it, so we could leave the connection open and not see any real difference. But if we have 100 people or 1,000 people connecting to our website, because SQL is multi-threaded, every time we create a new connection, it creates a new thread in the thread pool, and the thread pool keeps getting bigger and bigger, and eventually it will run out of memory. So that's why we end the connection. That way it takes that thread out of the thread pool and we save memory. Yes.
Is that why websites crash when there's like a big thing that happens?
That is one of several reasons it could crash. It could be the web server, like the Apache web server that's getting too many connections and crashing. It could be the database getting too many connections and crashing. There are like multiple points. But that is definitely one of them. Any other questions, guys? Yeah.
Or is it better to close the connection inside the function that we're calling or inside that connection function?
It has to be inside the connection function. If you were to put it here inside of this function instead, it wouldn't even work because it would end the connect. Because of the way Node runs things in parallel, it would actually, if I put this here, it would actually end this connection before maybe it got to doing all of this stuff down here. Because it takes time for it to connect to the database, run the query, and come back. By the time it had tried to do that, it would have already ended the connection. So this would fail if we did it this way. Yeah, same.
Should you, like, as a matter of bookkeeping, like, be careful to close the connection every single time you open one? Or should you, like, leave it open and close it at the end of whatever you're doing?
Jonathan? I think you do it. So say you want to do like 3 things. Say I want to select things from one table. Say I want to select things from another table and write something to the last table. Yeah, no, you would leave the connection open. So if you're doing one thing for one user, you do like everything you need to do in the database for that user, and then close the connection. You don't keep going.
So for homework, it's just one query.
Yeah, every time you run the little command line utility app, it should be, I have to look at the instructions again. It should be just one query. It's definitely just one connection.
Okay.
It might be more than one query depending how you set it up. There could be like multiple tables, like you have a table for product and then another linking table that links to it or something. I'd have to look at it, but it won't be that hard. It'll be, yeah.
You had like a query that was 10 lines long. How would you put that in there?
Well, you could use what's called a string literal, which is a feature of ES6. This is a good thing for all of you to learn about. So we've learned about strings that have single quotes and double quotes, right? So in JavaScript, single quotes and double quotes do what? Same thing, different thing? Yeah, this is a tick, so we're getting to that. But okay, so you know single quotes and double quotes in JavaScript, they do the exact same thing. In other languages, they don't do the same thing. In Java, you have to use what? Sam?
You have to use
double quotes, yeah. And it will completely fail if you don't use double quotes. Now, with ES6, we have this other option to use what are called string literals, which are with tick marks. Now, the difference between these and the single or double quotes is that we can put multiple lines And then there's also something called string interpolation, which you guys can look at on your own. Basically, what this does is instead of putting strings together, like here, I'll just go ahead and show you guys this, even though we're behind. It's important to cover all of this stuff. So. Yes, I get to decide what's important here.
You are so sassy.
Is it important to cover right now? Yeah, we'll cover it right now.
Is this a ES6 or is this?
ES6, yeah, but it does work in Chrome now, I think. So what you can do is instead of putting plus signs to put strings together, you can put these $sign with the curly brackets, and then they will get replaced. Yeah, so basically instead of using a bunch of plus signs to string together strings, if you want to have something that says like, hello, so-and-so, how are you? You could just put like name and the $sign and curly brackets, and then it'll automatically put in whatever you want. So you guys, yeah, so you guys can research this on your own and see a little bit more about how it works, but just wanted to show you. But to answer your question, Russ, this is how you would do it. If you have like a longer query that's like 10 lines, you could use the string literals.
Never mind.
Go ahead, Sim.
Okay, so there was another thing where it was like you have a string, you have different fields within it, and then at the end you specify what the fields are. Is that...
Yeah, that's the string interpolation. That's what we just showed you. Yeah, go ahead, just look up JavaScript string interpolation, and you'll see what it does. So let's take a look at what's next. Okay, looks like you guys are gonna get to do some work in your small groups, individually, etc. Creating, updating, and deleting data. Oh, okay. So sorry, guys. I have to show you guys more about creating, collecting data from a node database. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we talked in our last class a little bit about CRUD, right? You guys remember learning about CRUD? So CRUD is just create, write, update, and delete. Let me bring up this one page here. Sorry, we don't have everything pulled up nicely, but just take a sec. Yeah, we are part-time. There's a full-time class is only 3 months, not 6 months. Bigger. This is part-time. There's a full-time.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if there's a full-time at UM. Is there?
Yeah, not a UM.
Okay, so here we are. Create, write, update, delete. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, update, delete.
What?
Oh, I wrote.
Create. Yeah, that's my. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to you. I just thought, oh, okay, they didn't want to go with the W.
Yeah. Create, read, update, delete, not write. Sorry, I told you MySQL is not my strong suit.
Oh, yeah.
But I do my best with it, and it's not really hard. You just have to learn to use it. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of sass in the class. Just to keep me on my toes. Oh, that's what it was. I should have never let them do that. I said no. Yes. Create, read, update, delete, everyone. So this is how you create. You do insert into. Say your table name is pets. You do insert into table name and then values. Right? You guys got that? Then read, we just do select, like we just showed in that last query in our last example. Select star from pets. And then update. I'll let you guys take these notes, but this information is pretty easy to find online. So. Okay, so you guys got all of this. You understand what update does when we have something that's already there, a column that's already there. Sometimes we'll want to change it, so that's what update does. Update uses the syntax to first put the word update, then pets, the name of our table, then set, name, underdog, and then we type where to find out which column, or I'm sorry, which row we're going to be updating. Make sense to everyone? And then delete, obviously just deletes that row. So we're going to say on the row where the type equals mouse, we'll delete that row. Right? Okay, so you guys ready for what's next? Okay. No, we have another 20 minutes and then we're going to break. Okay, so we're going to write our yeah, we're at playlist read.
Number 8 on the time tracker?
Number 8, yeah. Okay, you guys have 20 minutes to work on this and then break. I'll just go over it with you guys so we're all clear on what it is. We're going to print playlist to the Git Bash console based on what genre or artist. Or if you're using Mac, you will use your terminal just as you have been. First, create code that prints all songs within your database to the terminal. Now, create code that prints songs of a specific genre. Or do we already have a database of songs?
We skipped that. If you look at number 5 in the lesson plan, that's
Books.sql?
No, playlist seeds.
Where?
Oh.
Books.sql is what I have in the examples.
Oh, I see number 8.
Right here.
Playlist read is.
No, playlist seed. This is when they were supposed to.
But that isn't in the examples.
Okay, so the ice cream direction.
Collected
we're
from
supposed to
data
change
set.
ice cream to playlist.
Oh, see, and then they were supposed to get all this back.
Oh, okay. So we're just gonna pretend. I don't know why they did some things ice cream and some things playlist. But we'll just go ahead and use ice cream. So just go ahead and use ice cream. I know. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and use ice cream. So just anytime I mention playlist, pretend we're talking about ice cream. Ice cream. Okay, so let's go over the README for your ice cream crud. It's time to start making our ice cream application a little more functional through including our CRUD elements within it, add in some pieces to create, write, update, delete. Okay, you guys good with this? So we're just going to write functions to read from our database, then to write stuff to our database, to update our database, and to delete our database. We're going to write those 4 SQL queries and then run them through Node.
Using it.
You can use whatever your heart desires.
There's also over how JavaScript is instead of SQL, they have question marks. You can put all that in your object. So they do like multiple question marks. They can do an array of objects. Each question mark we don't have to push.
Is it critical?
It's part of the CRUD stuff.
Nah, I think I'm good. Yeah, no. We're gonna have to learn SQL lines anyway. So
yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not really, that's not like core SQL. That's the future of the Node SQL package. Like not working.
Yeah, we're using Oops. We're not writing actual.
Are these all queries?
Yeah, these are all going to be queries. Actually, yeah, can you Slack that out to everyone, Jonathan? The image or whatever from the lesson plan. So there's another fancier way that they want you guys to learn that I had never even seen before, where you can use. I'll just do it. I got it. Sorry. Oh no, I can't even.
I got it.
Okay, you got it. Okay, Jonathan's gonna slack out another syntax for, here, I got it, Jonathan, actually. I did. Oh, you did it? Okay. Yeah, so Jonathan slacked out this other syntax where you can mix in JavaScript objects with your SQL syntax, which is a feature of the Node.js MySQL package. So if you want to, you can write your queries in that way too, with JavaScript objects mixed in with your SQL. It might just make things more confusing, especially if you're having to go on Google and look up how to write the SQL. But up to you if you want to use that or not.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is not a core feature of SQL. This is a feature of the MySQL package for NPM. It's not up on the monitor. I'm looking at it on my other computer. Jonathan just
So
flagged it out.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, here, let me bring it up on the monitor and then I'll explain. Okay.
That's the one with the array and then the
Yeah.
other is just single.
So basically what you can do, the MySQL package for NPM gives you the ability to mix in JavaScript objects with your SQL query syntax. So yeah, it is neat. It might also confuse you though when you're starting out. It might be better to straight plain SQL. Yeah.
Will we conceivably continue using NPM for like actual production, or is this kind of like an educational?
NPM, the package manager for Node?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll use that for
So we
everything.
can get used to doing it this way if we want, and that.
Yeah, we're also going to be learning on Saturday. You guys will be learning Sequelize, which is another NPM tool for Node that makes it even easier. That will actually write your SQL code pretty much for you. It's an object relational mapper, which you guys will get into talking about on Saturday.
Oh, one thing though, I think you're getting confused with what NPM is. NPM is that.
No, yeah,
It's the
package manager.
Well, that's MySQL, which is a package of.
Yeah.
Oh, NPM. He got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could tell you we were on the same page. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Everyone good with this? You can do it this way if you want to, or don't. If you don't want to confuse
So that we
yourself.
don't end the connection in this case?
No, you're gonna end the connection every time. After you're done with everything though, like so you do your create, your write, your update, and your delete, and then you're done with everything then.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Oh, wait. Oh, so this isn't so that we can do multiple queries in a row?
This, no.
Okay. Everything. To make it an object just because.
Yeah, it's pretty much just because there isn't a whole lot of reason. Well, the reason behind it is that you have to mix in your JavaScript variables with your SQL query. So it's easier if you just put in a JavaScript object, and that way it already has all of the variables kind of predefined. So it makes it a little bit easier instead of like adding the strings together. You could also just use string interpolation, like I was showing you guys.
No, they think
Yeah, but I think it's just
So this is like that.
Right.
So as what they're
That's a select.
What are the syntax?
Click on the actual data.
Create, update, delete.
using required. Yeah. Great.
Okay. This is the code that you're gonna write. So for, and you'll run this and go back. So.
I'm gonna do my work. Oh, yeah, I still have another.
Just the stuff inside, just the stuff inside.
You have to do it.
No.
Computer plans?
Yes, just like.
No, just so they can see the technical.
No, wait, one more.
I don't know. If
and paste that one more time inside the, so it'll all be in your after connection function. And then, no, but we're like. See.
so many like.
Oh, that's an English, but you're gonna have to translate that.
Well, Jamie, they can use that or
You're
they
gonna
can use
use,
that.
you're gonna use
Now,
that,
well,
but.
you're gonna, the first one is gonna be an insert, so
That
you'll.
we- We're gonna do the same thing with
So
the.
it's insert,
Yeah.
Okay, so shit.
yeah, so get rid of that and then there's like insert all caps. It actually doesn't matter, but it's just like. Insert space, and then text the table and ice cream, which I think is.
The front, man.
Right.
So we go to the database, right?
And then we're gonna type, so can you go, do you have some PHP? Or.
How do you do a delete query with a wildcard to show everything?
Delete everything?
Delete everything in the table. How would you do that if you
You
wanted
would
to?
do, like, let me see.
That's it.
Oh, just delete without specifying the where.
Yeah, so you don't have to put a wild card or anything, it's just, if you don't narrow it down, then it just.
Alright, thanks. Just delete from table.
It probably says the
Awesome.
line as a new line, but it should be fine, like, it should be prepared.
Okay, and,
Right, because I switched over.
Okay. Got it, because I was like, why are we waiting? Thank you.
You shouldn't need to work with it.
oh, but you can't put the quotes because it will break the double. So just put like single quotes, and it should work fine. Yeah, single quotes. No, you should be the quotes for Brexit. We're just adding to this, right? Yeah. There,
Yeah. When you get We have to do it. They say that.
You could just do.
You're right.
Console log of added. And then get rid of the connection.
Same issue. We're looking at we're looking at this one.
And then your back connection.
Okay.
Okay, so for this next one, now we're gonna do this.
Oh, because what we saved is a Sublime.
Set.
We saved is Sublime. Is
So that you don't have a change.
This.
You know, different queries calling each other in callbacks.
There we go. Yeah, you're working on
Thank you. That's what we're going to
Yeah, I just realized that so you don't.
No, actually, here's what you're gonna do. You want to reset.
Well, we're doing all four of them.
Okay. So like,
Great.
Right, so all of
make sure that all of your queries.
you already have one of them done, read.
That you would either have.
See that, you already have read done.
Directly.
So you just need to do one to read or
Wait, wait.
And then call that function.
So like, at all from
And
products.
then, outside of course, we'll type where.
So this should be read. You know what I mean?
Where
Is that
flavor.
right? It's the first one, right?
Yeah.
So I keep putting it in read.
Equals,
Create, update, and delete.
where flavor equals current.
3 more to
The
go.
first screenshot of the second.
There's 3 other functions.
Function, right? Can we do it here? Yeah, no,
Okay,
no.
and then.
It's just that one's created, one's updated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then. And then you're just gonna do.
Those are examples.
So, same thing here, you're gonna do delete from products where type equals. Yeah.
That's the query, it's the same thing. Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, he says, well, he could do that or that, they could do that or that. See, this is the SQL way of doing it. And then the JavaScript way of doing that. And they can do
Yeah, you can put it all just in a connection, that one. Yeah, or have a function, or have a function for each one that says create, delete, and then call it. But just don't end your connection.
Yeah.
Get rid of this connection.
If your person is something.
I think my question is your conversation.
Oh, what is it?
Essentially, I read the instructions, you assign me essentially implementing the product but through the job, right? Just essentially, because you select that, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, whatever.
There's 2 ways to like create and update. You're missing the lead.
So the alternative, so.
But it's up there, so you would do delete from
Yeah.
question mark, where type equals question mark. And then you would fill in
And then
the
we'll be running
array of
the
objects like
code
I said
from
now.
inside. So like here, this is MySQL code, it's the same as this, but we're running the
Okay,
MySQL.
got a better idea. So we're using, dealing with the job,
You
not.
can do either.
So we could go through, okay.
That's what, I know that's what he
Per
wrote.
application.
But we're suggesting go with. I mean, it's, this
So we're
is the last one.
running
Sorry, Saturday is the last one.
Kind of
We're
like
gonna
we did
move on
with
to SQL, which is completely different.
Put on there.
Okay.
So.
So yes.
I create multiple again. So what is next?
Well, this has to change. This is your query. Your query has to change. So, well, replacing with whatever you have. So for example, in Ream, it says select all from pets. Oh, you don't have it, so you have to select all from products, because that's what you do.
Oh,
So the first one, it would be insert into products. And then I don't know.
So the first one is a pair.
Oh, it just goes off.
Okay, so the second one is create. Yep, the second one is create, right? So what do I do?
Create, those would be the same thing up there, insert into products, and then ID, flavor, price, quantity, values, whatever you want.
Oh, the one that,
It doesn't matter.
this one? No. Yeah. Okay, come on, hang out, man.
Okay, so there's 4 different queries you have to look at.
Wait.
This query has to change depending on what you're doing.
What we need?
Without specifying.
Okay, what? The create one is
Yeah,
it's create name type A. What is that?
Same thing.
No, you choose insert into pets, name type A, value, figure, that's what we do. That's what's here.
Yeah, this one, right?
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, you can delete whatever you want.
Select all the way to
Did it erase that?
oh, type into what? Hash.
No, because we don't have pets. That was just an example. So we're gonna do products, because that's what it's here.
Okay.
Okay, and then instead of name type age, we're gonna do
product flavor.
So come over here to I'm sorry, ice cream. Oh, table.
Logically, the same.
TIF ID flavor price quantity. That's what we're gonna do instead of name type. And then the values, you see if there are some values. That's just gonna be whatever you want it to be. So you can do ID 10, flavor, vanilla, price, whatever.
So.
I'll just do it.
Oh, interesting.
Everyone, our 20 minutes for this exercise is up.
So I should put ID, comma, flavor, right?
Exactly.
Okay?
Do you put anything?
Everyone hear me?
Yes.
We're gonna start now, back in 30. Yeah.
Oh, value.
Whatever you want.
So I put parentheses, value.
Create, update, delete, and print.
Oh, one's the SQL. Yeah, but that should like.
Like wire to
Dude, it's zero words. There's my check table. I'm gonna run it. Oh, I did it like this.
No.
You can see, did I do it?
It is a bit longer because of the.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
yeah.
it's like this.
No.
This.
Is that supposed to be a string?
I didn't do that.
Yeah, it's really like that. There it is. So now, if I refresh, same thing I wish.
Yeah, you can use that.
You receive
The other thing is, next week, you get into SQL, which is different.
No problem.
I don't know why they do that.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
What? It's great.
Oh, like.
Yes.
No. These are what you're gonna insert.
His recipe for ice.
Oh, into the table. Okay, so the first one is the ID.
ID.
That's the ID. This is a string. Okay, and then the next one is gonna be the flavor. Which has to be a string.
Oh, yeah.
And then the price.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you did it in Sublime, send it over and just.
All right, so now you have create, you have three, you need update and delete.
I've never seen it either.
Okay, so I need to do this one. Okay, right. Update and do.
That's right, but that's good.
Oh, like you can.
But this is what I'm. Interesting I work like for because I've never seen oil. Yeah.
Yeah, there's other oil. I think the liquid came from the eggs. Said to put either ice or water into it. Yeah, I guess it's like it's all oil and butter.
Okay, now you're reacting?
I reacted to bananas.
You said bananas? No,
No,
I didn't. No, but like, I think oil is interesting in my opinion. Because when you think ice cream, you don't think oil, it's like.
Well, the other thing is coconut oil is solid at room temperature.
Yeah, I had coconut oil.
Yeah. Because you know the jar and you like.
Yeah, when it's white.
Yeah.
And that's when you.
Yeah.
Do teeth,
So.
oil.
Because there's one I think it's so simple. I like
Yeah,
this.
Oh, send name, please. I would say, no, let's say flavor.
Basically, that's the answer right there.
Have you seen like? Yeah, have you seen real big? Like it's not white. Yeah. Mayonnaise also just.
Yeah. It was just like, put all of it in a blender. And then I did the shaking
The shaking, oh, you did
Because the
also.
bulletproof guy was like using an ice cream machine. And I was like,
No.
oh.
Okay, I like your girl, I don't like
These have to
that.
be single course, because they're inside of them.
Yeah, I like her, she's a good one. But no, do you remember that show on PBS when we were younger called Zoom?
Zoom.
They did it with cans, like they would put the ice cream in something in a bag and then you put it in a can and she just rolled the bag.
Oh, yeah. Make sure this is wrong. See the first quote?
No, me getting extra forks works.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the can, and you just put ice cream. I miss you.
That show was, that was great.
Oh,
When they spoke in,
wow, wow, that's
I got really good at speaking.
There one time we made like a roll ice cream sandwich, and I'm like, all of these recipes I never do, I'm like, I wish you just watch the show.
There was one that I made like a minute, after I saw the episode, like the cinnamon.
I assume that. And now you do.
Slices of it, like scallops, and then you dip it in butter and fry it. No, it's like cinnamon and sugar. Oh, yeah. You dip it in butter, then cinnamon sugar, then.
It's the creamy sauce. Like I was so, remember the redhead with the pretty hair with the freckles? She was my favorite one. That was my favorite one. Really? Okay.
This is what I just said. I did. Put it in the connection.
What's on an iPad?
After create data, it's very end or run data.
Yeah, there she is.
Once
Look
the
at
kids
her.
from themselves.
Oh, look at that little redhead. Oh my God. Looking at that photo, when I was young watching that show, wow. She's a big teen. Now I look at this and I'm like, wow, she's a
Yeah, I used to, I find myself in house as an actual pro. It's like high school.
Wait, Otto is 9. He was way too mature for his age. Remember when they thought that they had the spell?
Yeah.
His teacher would have like his Wi-Fi or something, and they were passing by his apartment, and the teacher was cutting onions, and they saw him crying, and they go, "God,
You can see it.
Birdman, yes!" No, his room is my favorite. That skylight,
That would just change the flavor column. Also had to change to vanilla. The TBO flavor lemon. Yo, so that's if you want to be.
oh, it's so the first student was 1972, and then the second student was 1999. On IMDb, it shows. Yeah, there was the original 70s one. Which had no. I think it was.
Okay,
And how well I know I took out the
That's how
instead of okay, remove this one, remove the
because they lost me.
this one.
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay, so whatever, it depends where you want to test. So if you want to test instead of after connection, type repeat data.
Yeah, we have this now.
Instead of after connection. Whichever way you want to test, let's start repeat data. And we go now go to
And what you do is you look at the game. Yeah, it's pretty.
What? Alyssa, that's me. Oh, she's even.
So there's like a paid version, but there's a free version too.
Yes. What's your name again? She was, yeah, she had a lot of success because it was clearly so expensive and all, and then it was the Great Continued, which. No, but I want to say, I think I like Clarissa more than Sabrina. I'm just gonna say it.
There it is. Okay, so red. Now let's try, for example, to create. So I'm typing create. Let's create.
What's my name?
So instead of reading, now we're gonna create the content here, right? So we need to put anything.
I like my names. Yeah.
Okay, let's.
It's interesting, I was creating it, that's what
Run that.
GIF is okay, but you have to do some work to make it like do simpler formats.
Perfect. So if you go over here and refresh it.
Oh, that was terrible.
There's a lot of them. So depending on what you want to do. Can we do that here instead of take off? You can, but you're learning how to do it. So you do it all on the server. Oh, this is good, right? But you have to do it for here, right? Okay. You have to here. What you need the things that you do. Oh, happy. They mean okay. No. Just this. Oh, this is
Let's put it this way. I want my gas to update my database. I'm gonna do that.
Well, you're using required. So depending on what you actually update. Let's see.
I know.
I don't know.
But I think it's required to say, okay, what do you want to do?
Oh, but the whole environment, you're right, like,
This
that's the one thing I want to say.
This is the one thing I want to like actually.
you could do every time.
Not necessarily because.
So like, you do only product, save it, then you run.
So with my database, because I don't know.
Product, then you save it.
I think I'm just frustrated because from where I used to work, I kind of use.
Change for that, there's right here.
Exactly. That's another way.
And then within those projects, they're like next to different data sources, so.
Yeah, that's totally different, Mappy. Don't even try to like translate that, what you've done in .NET land to this, because it doesn't directly, the stuff that you've learned with .NET at your company, don't try to make it
Yeah.
translate into this.
And created a number of points.
Oh, so they're actually doing it as a chain reaction. So first they create the product. After they create the product, they update the product.
Wu-Tang.
So each function is
That's
certain.
all the other one. Yep.
Yes, they do it. Yeah.
And at the end, you would just read.
What are you talking about? I'm
So
sorry.
you create a new flavor, you update the flavor, you delete a flavor, and then you read it.
My phone is loading.
But the only one that needs to be inserted was.
Oh, I heard of it.
Create.
Okay, so now I just put it there. And then I run that.
Is it Pub Belly or Pub Belly?
Pub alley.
Oh, Pub Belly.
It was.
I'm not sure. No, isn't it Pub Belly?
Hot Belly?
Is it Pub Belly? There's a
The sandwich shops?
Okay.
But that's Pub
I
Belly.
figured.
Hot Bellies, yeah. Like a Hot Belly stuff.
The what place? The what place? Where's Pub Belly? Oh, okay.
Where do you see the thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
She is.
So like you remove create product.
Open market.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
You do need her, you do need her life for that.
I think I got
You
it.
just reminded me of that movie. What's that movie? From. There was a
I
sequel.
saw Gerald's game.
Damn,
You saw it?
Oh, because we had that.
I already know that.
Oh my god. You made it to the end?
The land.
Well, I was almost done.
So first,
Oh,
we're gonna create
and
product.
it was
I
just
haven't
on.
seen
I've never seen Sound of the Lambs.
I've never seen Silence of the Lambs.
What?
That's messed up.
Yeah, you gotta see. That's just one of those classics. You
Hey,
gotta
I
see.
just watched it a year ago, so if you're okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, so have you ever seen History of the World Part 1?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Alright, there you go. Well, on the comedy side, that's a classic.
Okay, everyone, it's almost time to start. Can someone go grab the people outside? Someone? Yes, thanks,
It's
Lucas.
really good, Silence of the Lambs. I wasn't sure.
That's like my favorite movie of all time.
I think I have exactly 0 minutes this weekend.
That, Seven, is really good too. Have you seen that?
I mean, I should have paid.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? Silence of the Lambs?
Silence of the Lambs.
What game?
Oh,
Is it new? Oh, yeah? Oh, cool.
It's about like a year old, I wanna say.
Yeah.
When you have a developer application or maybe a website,
Uh-huh.
let's say, and but you want to just bring something to the user that they can just, in the future, just manage, like an upload pictures and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Do you use any CMS for that?
Yeah,
You
you
can
can.
provide any CMS?
Yeah, I would use WordPress. WordPress is a pretty good one. Or use a Node.js one, but I don't know which one's it.
The WordPress is for PHP.
Yeah, so you have to learn a little bit of PHP because that's what WordPress is really good for that.
Well, the thing is, I'm used WordPress.
Or make them like a small admin. But here's the thing, with a lot of the sites that I've made for clients, I make them like a nice admin and I say, hey, here's how you use it, here's the passwords, blah, blah. And then they never even figure out how to use it because they're not like tech people. So they just call me like every time they wanted to update something. And I said, well, I made this admin. They're like, oh yeah, I didn't
So
really
I don't
want
have
to
to,
even bother.
I don't have to bother to make using the CMS for them.
No, I wouldn't say unless they want it, unless they ask you for it, don't even like give that to them because they won't really think about it or know how to use it. You know what I mean? It's just like an extra thing for them to think about. So unless they ask you.
Have you ever used Keystone?
No, I'll look into it though. Okay, we're gonna start. Hi everyone, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. We're gonna focus. Are we missing anybody still? You guys all got your buddies? Got your buddies? Buddy Shack. Buddy Shack. Anybody who still got their original buddy from day one? Oh yeah, well you just lost your buddy. Day one buddy. Any more day one buddies still? Okay. We're missing Jose. I think we're missing Pedro.
My buddy's gone forever.
Yeah, I know. He's not. He's still in our class. Technically, he's still in our class.
I saw him last week and I was like, oh, whoa. Hi there.
Okay, guys, let's focus up for a second. We're gonna talk about crud and ice cream. Let's do laptops down for a minute, guys. Laptops down, laptops down, laptops down, laptops down. Come on, guys, laptops down for just a second. We're just gonna talk about this quickly, this exercise we just did. Jackie?
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
That's okay, that's okay. Mike and Gmail, and then we're good. And then whoever. Okay, so we're just going to talk about what we just did. This is the solution we got from them. It's a little bit more complicated than I would like. But basically, the crux of what we're doing here is we have SQL code. SQL code allows us to create, write, and update to the tables in our database. And then we're just going to run this from our Node.js application. The way we do that is we pass in SQL queries as strings. As we were talking about before, this MySQL package for Node.js NPM also gives us the ability to pass in JavaScript objects, which kind of makes something more complicated that we're kind of just learning. So you can do it this way by passing in a JavaScript object. Another way that you could do it is just by passing in all of these in plain SQL syntax, which would be just like this, Rocky Road. It would be basically like this style of doing it instead, which kind of makes more sense. I don't know if I even like the mixing in JavaScript objects with SQL. I think it makes it
too complicated. Like, jobs.
To use it, I mean, it depends what you're doing. If you are using it in your jobs, then it might actually make sense if you're going to be working on that every day. For like a one-off thing that we're going to be working on for 3 classes in a week, I don't think it makes sense to do all of this. Also for you at your job, I'd be surprised if they had you working on Node.js and MySQL stuff since it's a .NET shop. Yeah, same.
When you're doing the instructions, just like you said before, do you use single quotes? I'm sorry, I know we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
Single quotes within the double quotes.
Yeah, you can use either one. Either way actually works because MySQL is sort of agnostic about the single or double quotes, as is JavaScript, so you can use either way and it works just fine. Also, you can use the tick marks and make a string literal, and then you can use the double quotes inside your SQL query. So did people start to get to an answer basically like this? We're going to create our product. We're going to insert Rocky Road into our database. Our database has 3 columns: the name or flavor of the ice cream, the price of the ice cream in dollars, and then the quantity of how many ice creams we have in stock. So we're just going to add this new record. There's Rocky Road. The price is $3, and we have 50 of them in stock. Then we're going to update our product. So we're going to say we want to set, no, we actually have 100 Rocky Road ice creams in stock and not 50. So, or 60. So we just change the quantity.
I have a question on the where. I was really confused with the where.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the where. Let's go back to the plain MySQL syntax so we're not learning 2 different things at once. So what where does is it selects where we're going to update something. So we have, say we have our table. And we have 3 columns. The first one is going to be the flavor, then the price, and then the quantity. Right, so the flavor is going to be Rocky Road. Melvin, this is just for learning about SQL.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's why we do it this way, and say we have 60 of them. So then, and then say there's like a bunch more ice creams with different prices and different quantities, right? Guys, y'all with me so far?
Yeah.
So your Mills question was, why do we use the where? So I'm going to tell it I want to update the quantity of one of these to 100, right? But it needs to know which one of them. So I use the where. I'm going to say, hey, update the quantity to 100 here, where the flavor equals Rocky Road. So anytime there's a row in our database that has the flavor of Rocky Road, we're going to change the quantity to 100. Does that make sense?
If there's more.
The code is right here for this.
if there's more than one rocky road,
It will update both. Yeah, we'll update both of them. So yeah, so if you wanted to just update one, typically if you were doing this in real life or a real production application, you would have the UUID or the primary key, right? And then so you'd have your primary key 1, 2, 3, and then you would say update quantity where ID is 1, and that way we're just doing it for the one row and not everywhere where the flavor is a certain thing. Makes sense? Yes.
Are the price and quantities here strings or numbers?
It is whatever data type you set it. So remember in our last class, we talked about the data schemas. Now we have varchar and we limit the number of characters and stuff. So we limit the memory that we're allocating. So you make it, if you declared it in your schema as being a number, a float, or whatever, then you pass it in JavaScript as a number. Yeah. Yeah, if we set it as an integer, it's a number.
Can we use more than one condition in that word?
Say that again, more than one condition?
More than one condition in that word statement?
Yeah, you can, but that gets confusing. I don't know how to do that offhand. Let me Google for that. Just to show us how to use our. Yeah, is it just and? Yeah, I think it's just and. MySQL multiple params. Yes. Here we go. So we just like Google for this. The first thing that comes up should show us where ID is in 1 or 2 or 3. Oh, so this one does it where the ID equals multiple. So this is different than what we were looking for.
That's what the person who asked the question put, and they said that that's wrong.
Right. So this is the right way to do it. If you want to update multiple things at once with different values for the same field. This next one. Yeah, it's and, like you said. So you would do something like this. Column 1 equals var1 and column 2 equals var2. But this is even getting a little bit more complicated than where we need to go, and we do have limited time. So you guys will be working on a group project for the rest of the. Any more questions on this, guys? Let's get it all out of our systems now.
The connection start and end was, did I miss that?
Yeah, we talked about that at length.
Well, never mind.
Yeah, no, we'll go over it again. So you open your connection here. We do connection.connect. This opens the connection, right? And then when you're done with everything, you want to close the connection. Yeah, the reason we close the connection is so our thread pool doesn't get too big, because it adds a new thread for each connection we have open. So we don't want our thread pool to get too big. Our application will run out of memory. Okay, we're going to be slacking out the activity you will be working on for the next 50 minutes until class ends. 50. Wow.
Big activity.
It's a big deal. It's a big activity.
The instructions are only 2
You're
pages.
not playing. I forgot.
So work on this with groups. Find your favorite partners. Okay. And we're going to read this as a team. Good.
I think we've just lost it.
Wait, what happened? What just happened?
I thought that I was like, wait, you gotta put that in the context. You know how terrible that sounds.
Take him out.
You were saying that we should play music for this longest section, and I said we're not playing Africa by Toto because it's the one she's always suggesting.
Oh, okay, so it's not like Africa the Africa by Toto. Okay, that's different. I was about to say like that.
I wasn't gonna suggest Africa. I like other things too.
Okay, well, if you guys have musical suggestions, slack them to me. I'm happy to oblige.
Careless whisper.
No.
Listen.
Okay, we're going to talk about instructions now. Okay, guys, listen up. Within your groups, you're going to be creating a new Node application called Great Bay, which allows users to create and bid on assorted items, kind of like eBay, but it has a better name.
Guys.
All right, so at least the people who write this stuff are not without a sense of humor. All right, the basic application is fairly simple. Upon loading up the program, the user is prompted on whether they would like to post an item or bid on an item, right? Hey guys, yeah, we're going to all discuss this as a class. So this is going to be another inquirer command line application, right? And it's going to give you like an eBay type auction site where you'll either add an item that you want to sell or you'll be bidding on an item that you want to buy, right? And then if the user selects post an item, they're prompted to give you information, what the item is called, blah, 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 all kinds of stuff about it. If they select bid on an item, they're shown a list of all of the available items, and then they're prompted to select one of them. So you might have like 5 things. I'm going to select item 3, roller skates, because I roller skate. And yes, and then you'll type in a bidding price. If the bid is lower or equal, then you're going to let them know, hey, your bid is lower, so you don't get the item. Bid higher. If they bid higher, then it's going to save the bid, and then the next person will come in and bid behind them. Once your group has put together the basic application, it's time to test your collective skills on some additional functionality or add-ons. I don't think we're going to have time for add-ons. Create sign up and login system. We're not doing this. Okay, you guys understand what you're doing. You're going to take user input. First thing you come in, inquire. It's going to ask you, 1, are you selling something or are you buying something? If you put, I'm selling something, it will ask you, okay, what is the thing you're selling? How much money do you want from this thing? Then you can ask them more questions if you want to about the thing that they're selling. Right? Then it's going to take that thing and it's going to add it into your database. You're going to make your database schema to hold the information about the things they're selling, including the price and the name of the item, as well as other things you may want to have in there if you want to. Right? You guys with me so far? So you're going to prompt the user with inquirer to, 1, are they selling or buying? They say they're buying or they say they're selling. You're going to put the information they give you about the thing they're selling in the database, the price, the name of the item, whatever else they want to say about the item, long description, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to save it in the database. Then if they come back in and they say, I want option 2, I want to buy something, you're going to show them all the items that you already have saved in the database. And then they'll be able to bid on one of them. If their bid is lower than the next highest bid, you're going to tell them, hey, your bid doesn't work because it's lower than somebody else's bid, so you won't get the thing you lose. Right? If their bid is higher than the highest bid, you're going to lock their bid in as the highest bid. Right? And that's pretty much all we're going to be doing for the next 45 minutes, okay? You look really confused, baby.
I think we should be here.
Wait, we have exactly 45 minutes. Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be paired or do we work together?
No, it is 0. Or yes, they'll be able to put in their starting bid. So it's like eBay. You want
What's the size of the teams?
whatever they want. Whatever makes them comfortable for this. Yeah, that's good advice. I should have said that to you guys. Make the database schema first, figure out what your database columns and tables are going to be. Yeah, do the schema first.
Just copy and paste that stuff.
Yeah, I guess it calls.
Alright.
Yeah, right. And a bit. Oh.
Yeah, when they did, when they did the price.
No, I'm just waiting. It didn't move them.
Price, price is the bit. So the price is changing based on what the user puts.
You have,
Well, we could go starting price.
well, I'll walk you through it.
Alright, so an ID of price.
We're doing this.
Okay.
Keep in mind.
Alright, so we doing it on No, I know, but I'm saying to continue for it. We did the last one. Okay.
The database.
So, you're gonna show what they.
I can just make, I can make them.
Bless you.
Here,
If you're gonna buy, then it's gonna do everything, it's gonna show you everything that you can buy. Yeah.
Is this? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the one, created, innovated one.
Let's have, so this is gonna be.
Yeah.